If you are looking to incorporate AI into your YouTube channel or learn how to grow your podcast on YouTube, we're going to go over both of those things today. One of the best strategies of promoting your podcast is through short form video clips. And the easiest way to do this is the YouTube Remix feature, which we're going to talk about here shortly. But why do we need to promote our podcast even to begin with? Well, if you look at the stats around it, if you have more than 32 downloads in your first 7 days, you are in the top 50% of podcasters. Now, if you have over 5,000 downloads in your first 7 days, you're already in the top 1%. So this is the most popular podcast of all time. It's with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. It has about 150 million views on YouTube. Now, when you compare the most popular podcast ever to the most popular short or YouTube short ever, the numbers are pretty crazy. So the most popular short form video actually has 1.2 billion views. So when you look at the comparison, YouTube Shorts are in some ways 13 times more popular than podcast. And so what we should be doing, or what's very, very popular, is taking that long form video podcast and turning it into YouTube Shorts. And you've probably seen this a lot on social media, right? Where they edit the podcast into a YouTube short and it drives people back to the long form video podcast. And then this cycle kind of repeats. And then the question is, what is the fastest way to make those YouTube shorts? Because I don't have all day to sit around editing my long form video into YouTube shorts. The easiest way to do that is to pre-edit the podcast for short form video. That's what I do. And you can do this through the Remix feature. And just some things to think about if you do want to optimize your podcast for YouTube shorts is to do what I did here is I stack the video. And then I even upload the video vertically, the long form video. I even upload the long form video vertically because if you look at the statistics, 73% of podcasters listen to a podcast on their smartphone. But most people upload their podcast optimized for laptop displays and TV displays when they should, in my opinion, be optimizing for phone video. So this is what it would look like when you create a long form podcast as a YouTube video. And then the other great thing is that when you upload a long form video to YouTube, even if it's a podcast, this is how much of the screen it will take up as a long form video that's uploaded vertically as opposed to a horizontal. So you actually get about 2/3 more space. And then the other thing is if you upload a horizontal video, then it markets a podcast or another video right below your video. With this one, it kind of budges it out, which is nice. To do this feature on YouTube, it's really, really easy. You go to your long form YouTube video, you click Remix, and then it will allow you to choose a clip from that video, 60 seconds or less, from that long form podcast to turn into a YouTube short. And then the really, really nice part about this is this YouTube short is going to go out through the YouTube Shorts feed. And then when you use the Remix feature, it actually creates a clickable button that will direct people to the long form video. So these are some examples of remixes that I made. You see some of them don't do well, but some of them, I mean, this one has 2,000 views. This one has 2,000 views, 2,000 views, 1,500. So this works really, really well at driving traffic to your podcast is using the Remix feature. And you can even check how many views of that long form video came through the Remix feature in the analytics. So you can see almost 20% of my views on this video came through the promotion using the Remix feature. You have your long form video podcast. It's maybe an hour to an hour and a half long. How do you distribute that? Or how do you market that podcast? Well, very simply, it's with the short video, the short form YouTube videos or the YouTube shorts. And you can promote these on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, because they have stories and stuff. And then just making sure that you're able to link that short form video back to the podcast or do a call to action to subscribe to the podcast on that short form video. That's a really, really important thing is people spend 2 hours making a podcast and they post it once on their social media and they never do all the other supplemental behaviors, all the other things that you need to do to drive people to that long form podcast. And how do you do it? It's through the shorts.
Question. Now, when you take this long form video and you make a remix, do you make just one remix or do you make a dozen or 24 remixes? And does it do it automatically or you have to go one by one?
Yeah, you have to go one by one by one. And I do so if I have an hour-long podcast, within that hour-long podcast, there's probably 100 clips or maybe 20 clips, right? We'll say conservative. There's 20 clips in there that I could take out that I could turn into short-form video. Now, the way that you could do it is you have your long-form video podcast recorded. You could take it into your editing software and do all the editing necessary to create a short-form video out of it. That takes a lot of time. I'm a busy business owner. I don't have time for that. So the Remix feature just allows you to go all within YouTube itself without downloading, uploading, really any editing at all. You just click on the remix button, and then you're able to take one of those short form videos from within that podcast.
But you would have to listen to the podcast and pick this section, then go down a little further, pick that section.
Correct.
You wouldn't do every 59 seconds or something.
You could. That might not be the best short form video, but you could do that. And every time you do a remix, it resets. So you got to then go back in and click the remix button again.
Okay, so it goes back to the beginning and you have to go to wherever you left off.
Correct. And there's a tool that I'll talk about now that, let's say your video isn't pre-optimized for YouTube Shorts. You just record a regular podcast, pretty much unedited. And sometimes when you do that, there's really large pauses in between. And so it doesn't really create a really good short form video. If you actually look at the majority of short form video that's taken from podcasts, it's edited. Okay. So there is a tool that can do this for you. There is a free level to it as well. And it's called Opus Pro. And what you do, it's really, really simple, is you just put the link to your YouTube video right here. You do get clips, and it will create short form video clips out of that long form podcast. So here's one that I did, and here's some clips that I took from it. So we'll actually take that long form video, add captions just right in the center. There's not a lot of customizability unless you upgrade. And this is a great tool, but this is a little bit slower because you're actually having to put the video in, download the video, upload the video. And what I found is that for YouTube remixes, YouTube really wants you to use that feature. And so they juice it. They give you more views on remixes than on normal shorts that you just upload like manually using some of those editing tools. So I find that YouTube really, really favors the remix. It's so easy. So I would encourage you to use it. I mean, Bree used it on a podcast, brand new. And in the first 24 hours of that podcast, she got, 6,000? Bree, you could just tell it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I put out 5 or 6 of them, I think. And I got, in 48 hours, I got right around 5,700 views. So, it was significant. It literally, when we found out, we were like, holy crap, this is key. And then we've been just tweaking every even more. And I just realized, literally while we were talking, that I can put tags on the remixes as well. Yeah. I didn't know I could do that. And that's another, I don't know if we're going to get into that about what tagging is. It's not the hashtags that you see. It's something completely different than that I'm going to do it to a couple and then see if I see a bounce up in views from that as well.
Another point on this repurposing videos. So this is another tactic here. So 2 things I want to talk about additionally with our podcast is, using the short form video to promote the long form video podcast is the searchable YouTube shorts. So here's a YouTube short that I made. And the interesting part about this YouTube short is that it's actually being picked up through the search. So this is new. 1, YouTube shorts are new. And then 2, the ability to find YouTube shorts through the YouTube search is a new feature as well. And so the great part about this is there's not a lot of competition in the realm of YouTube Shorts because it's a new feature, and there's not a lot of people focusing on searchable YouTube Shorts. So think about your podcast and think about, what can I label these shorts that my audience might be searching for? So we have somebody here who's a dating coach. He might do how to find a date online, right? Or how to optimize my Tinder profile. Those would be things that people might be searching for, and then they can discover your YouTube short. And the really amazing thing about this is that even on YouTube Shorts that you don't use the remix feature on, you can do something called a related video. You can attach a related video to that YouTube short. So on this YouTube short, I attached a long form video. So if somebody watches this YouTube short, they find it through the search, wherever they find it, it will direct them to a long form video or to my long form video podcast. This is how you do it in the back office. And as you can see, this is the video that I have it going to, and it has the steady growth curve because it's coming from the related short. I'm driving traffic from another video or from a YouTube short to a long form video. And then this will also increase how much this video is suggested as well. So that's a really amazing feature. Barrett Matthews, comment or question about that?
Yeah, I know you mentioned on the remix, it lets you do 60 seconds or less. Is there any time frame you recommend that's best?
I mean, I've honestly found the best out of really, really short clips, like 15 seconds, because what happens is somebody doesn't even know it replays because it's kind of so short, and so it causes them to watch it again and again and again and again. So if you can find a clip that loops, or it's like almost deceptive on when that video starts to replay, that's a really easy way to rack up a bunch of watch time. So YouTube recently released YouTube podcasting, which is a new feature within YouTube. I'm going to show you how to categorize a video as a podcast on YouTube. On YouTube, a podcast is just a form of a playlist. And so if I go to my playlist, you'll see I have a variety of playlists here. And then some of the playlists are categorized as podcast. So if I want to make a video, a podcast, all I have to do is I have to put it into a playlist that is categorized as and let's say I have a bunch of videos that are in a playlist already that I want to categorize as a podcast. It's super easy to do. I just click on options and then I do set as podcast. When I do set as podcast, I have to give it a title that's required, give it a description, and I have to give it a square thumbnail image. And then you can categorize any videos as a podcast. And one video can be a part of multiple podcasts, and you could have multiple podcasts on a singular YouTube channel. And this is a really amazing feature because it will promote that video, that YouTube video, as a normal YouTube video. It will be distributed the same as any other YouTube video, but it will also give that video the ability to be listened to in an audio-only format on Google Podcast, which will soon become YouTube Podcast. So they're getting rid of Google Podcast and they're changing it into YouTube Podcast. So I highly, highly recommend that you categorize videos as podcasts that can be listened to in an audio-only format. You know, the definition of a podcast has expanded over time. There's 1 minute podcast, 5 minute podcast, marathon podcast, 24-hour long podcast, B2B podcast, storytelling. You know, there's all these different types of podcasts. What I categorize a podcast as is something that can be listened to in an audio-only format. Okay, if there is a visual element, like if I'm doing a tutorial and I'm showing people how to do things, that's not going to be a good thing to categorize as a podcast because there's a visual element that's necessary to understanding that video. My other suggestion, this is really important for YouTube, is don't label your podcast like this on YouTube. Bree and Alex do the Bree and Alex podcast together episode 1. That's not going to do well on YouTube. When you think about YouTube, think about the search. People are searching for things on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the entire world. And so we should be labeling our podcast something that is searchable, something that people would find, or something that if they saw it in the browse feature, they would want to click on. So I label my podcast like the keywords that we discuss in that podcast or like the main overarching topic. So if I have a podcast, and even if it's a weekly podcast, I'm going to give that podcast a clickable name or a searchable name. So I'll give you an example of that, of what that would look like. So I'll go to my podcast and I'll just go to this podcast and I'll go to the videos and you can see I've labeled these podcasts. So this podcast how would you change business? Roundtable discussion. So the keyword is this right here. So I just put a little kind of micro title, or this one right here is a good example. Top 10 book recommendations for 2023. And then I put information about the podcast. And I could actually see that in the analytics that this video did get picked up through the search based upon book recommendations. So 20% of the views on this video came because somebody was searching book recommendations, and that's how they found this podcast. Another thing is that I would create a custom thumbnail. This is ideal. Okay, this is an ideal thing. I know not everybody has the time for this, but I would create a individual custom thumbnail image for each podcast. Don't just have one standard image that you maybe change the person's face on for each one of the podcasts. If you have the time to create a custom thumbnail for each one of your different podcasts, that's highly recommended on YouTube because that's how people discover it, is primarily through the thumbnail image and then the title and then maybe the description. So in my YouTube Circle community, we actually provide unlimited YouTube thumbnails for everybody who's a member, just so you guys know. Last thing that I would recommend against as far as podcasting goes is I would not do this type of podcast. Having everybody and their mama on your podcast. And like the goal is just to get as many people on your podcast as possible. Like a new guest every single day. I would not do that because those guests that you have are probably nobody's searching for them online. They don't have a big audience themselves. Like your goal for a podcast should be either to create really, really high quality content around keywords in your niche, or to have people on the podcast who have clout, who have fame, who have an audience of their own that they can share it with as well. But if I have a bunch of people on my podcast who have 0 followers, 0 social media reach, and we're just talking about like their life story, nobody gives a crap. And that podcast isn't going to go anywhere, in my opinion. Maybe it does. Maybe I have these but I see a lot of people do this. They're like, oh, I know like 200 business people. I'm going to have 200 business people on my podcast, and we're going to do the same format for every show. Who are you? Where are you from? How'd you get started in your business? What are some tips for people? I have done that podcast. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. Where I find success is by having people who have an audience already and then diving into particular topics in depth that are high value. But the only way that you're going to get people to that podcast is if the guest that you have has a community or is searched for. So an example of this, and I'll show you a real example of this and how to use this strategy in the right way. So on YouTube, there is something called the community tab. And the community tab is really, really great. A lot of people don't know about it. Here it is. When you post, you'll see it. And what this allows you to do is post an image poll, a text poll, a quiz, different type of content. But what you can do is you can actually use the community tab to do something called other people's platforms, or promoting your content through other people's community platforms. So here's a real life example of me doing this. So this is my YouTube channel. I have about 1,800 followers right now. That's a good amount, right? Almost 2,000. I know this guy. He has over 230,000 followers on YouTube. That's a lot more than me, right? Well, what I did is I did a podcast with this gentleman. And then what he did is he shared the podcast on his community tab on YouTube. So he said, hey, had you on the podcast, we collaborated. Would you share this episode on your community page? And he said, yeah. So he did it. And you can see that this is my most popular podcast. And I can look in the analytics of it. Wow, I got 14,000 impressions and a 5% click-through rate. When you compare that to my normal click-through rate, I get about normally 1,000 impressions and under a 1% click-through rate. So by having Corey on and by him promoting into his community, I increased my impressions and I increased my click-through rate to 5%. And it's a really, really simple strategy, but the key is finding those people who have a large YouTube following that they can actually share it out with. And I can see the analytics that 89% of these views came through that community tab, or that channel page, they call it. So that's another strategy that you can do to promote your podcast, is by sharing it on the community tab, or having your guest who has a YouTube following share it on their community tab. YouTube Shorts are really great if you have something to push them to, like just one singular long form video, because it's on YouTube, if you want to get paid by YouTube on ad spend, you need 4,000 hours of watch time. So I would use the Shorts feature at the beginning to get 1,000 subscribers, and then I would primarily stop and start building that long form video library content. And then once you have a good amount of those videos, then you really start putting on the gas of driving people from the Shorts. So start with Shorts, build to 1,000 followers with Shorts. That's really easy. I did it in under 30 days. And then I now have a large catalog of long form video that I'm using the Shorts to direct to. If you want to get paid by YouTube, long form video is where it's at 100%. Because with Shorts, you can't put affiliate links. You can't drive, like let's say you're like, hey, go click on this link. You can't do that on Shorts. You can only do it on long form video. So that's why I really encourage people to use the Shorts and then drive people. And you can even do a call to action on your YouTube short, like click on this video below to get the link. So if you were to promote a product through a short, tell them to click on the related video to get the link directly to it.
How long is a short that you would recommend?
Yeah, all YouTube shorts are less than 60 seconds. So on TikTok, there's longer ones. On Instagram Reels, it can be longer too. But I make all of my shorts less than 60 seconds so I can put them on YouTube.
But on shorts, you don't get engagement though, right? So what you're saying is you want to drive them to a long form anchored content or something.
Yeah. No, YouTube Shorts, they do get engagement. So engagement can be defined as like comments and likes and like people following and kind of like engaging with you as a creator. Yeah, I mean, short form video, it's hard to build a relationship with somebody in under 60 seconds, but it does happen. I get comments and I answer the comments on my YouTube Shorts because I do a lot of tutorial-based content. I do a lot of tutorials, and so there's always a question, well, what about this? What about this? So I actually will engage with my YouTube Shorts comments, and if you look at my YouTube Shorts, and we go to the ones that actually have views, this one has 276 comments. And by responding to people's comments, especially on videos that are increasing in views, what happens when you respond to somebody's comment? They have to go back to the video to read the comment. So they're going back to that video and you're getting more views. And if people are typing in the comments, guess what's happening? The video is playing repetitively in the background. So that can also boost views. So you actually find a lot of videos that have this super viral reach. A lot of times it's because people are arguing and debating in the comments. That's a great strategy. We talked a lot about YouTube on YouTube podcasting. Want to move to AI. But any final questions on podcasting? Otherwise, I'll move into AI.
Oh, so just real quick, was the faceless gel bad idea?
Yeah, honestly, I understand the appeal of doing a faceless YouTube channel, but the most eye-catching, the most attractive, the thing that is going to get people's attention more than any other thing on the internet is a human face. If you look at thumbnail images, if you look at any videos, your face is your superpower on YouTube, right? You do want to do editing and all this different stuff, but if you don't show your face, you're going to have to be about a 10 times better editor. Your face is so engaging, right? There's emotion, there's drama. If you're just using stock footage, that's not very engaging. And secondly, if you're not using your face, you're going to have, like I said, you'll just have to do a lot more editing. I can just hop on a video and talk like this. And you see a lot of successful YouTube channels that it's literally just a person talking, no editing. But that means you have to be an expert in your field or be a really engaging speaker. But I'm going into faceless YouTube channels because that's a great thing to do eventually, because then you don't have to show your face. I mean, in the future, in the very near future, you know, it's kind of getting to the subject of AI. You'll be in, even right now, you can create a digital avatar of yourself that looks just like this, right? Actually, this is a digital avatar. I'm not even here right now. I'm in my bed eating Cheetos. Joking. So the tool that allows you to create that 3D AI avatar that looks just like you is called HeyGen. And this is real life, guys. This is an AI person, but this like person right here is actually AI. So how you do this is like you look at the camera and they make you look right and left and they scan your face through your webcam and then they create this digital representation that they can then use on videos. And I've seen this. The problem with it and the reason that it might not be a great option is because it's very, very expensive to do for really long videos. And for YouTube, long video format is a good strategy to do if you want to make a lot of money because you can insert a lot of ads into it. So you can use a software like that. You can create what's called like a VTuber, which is like an animated version of yourself. There's software out there for that. And like I said, this might be something that you want to do long term because then you can automate the entire channel because you don't have to be there showing your face for that channel to run properly. So a lot of people do this and it's very, very profitable and it can be a really good thing. But like I said, if you're not showing your face, you got to be a great editor or a great storyteller. Another thing that I use AI for on my channel, which a lot of people like, is I create AI thumbnail images for my videos. I'm kind of like some of you guys. I don't like to show my face all the time or like take all these stupid photos of myself. And so you'll see on my videos, I actually created these AI avatars, these little cartoon images of myself. And I do this through a software called Midjourney. This is Midjourney. And what you can do is you can upload an image of yourself and then I can type in a prompt. And I could say, make me into a cartoon. This is just a really, really general example. And then it will actually use that picture as a reference and start to create 3D avatars or digital avatars. So you see, these are some of them that I created. Some of them look like me. Some of them really don't look like me. Some of them look like a more handsome version of me. Some of them look like an ugly version of me, but they're kind of creating them right here. Make sure to tell them it's a man because it looks like it's creating like a woman, which is kind of funny. So for these, I did kind of a more detailed prompt. I did bold lines, pop art, YouTube thumbnail expression, flat image, white male with a white hat. If you just kind of put in generally, it might make you look like a woman, which is kind of funny. Pretty though. So that's one tool that you can use is AI to create thumbnail images. There's some other tools out there too that are pretty cool. One of the ones that I saw recently it's called Typeframes. Okay, so this is a cool one. They have some free tools. One of the free tools they have is to create a TikTok video. So I can put in my text here and I can say, this is how to grow on YouTube is by using AI like Typeframe. Okay, I can choose my voice down here and then I do generate video, and then this is going to take a little bit to generate, but this will create a YouTube short for you that's just text-based. So for people who are like, oh, I don't want to put my face on my channel, this might be a great tool for you because it'll create text-based shorts for you. Barry, did you have a question?
Yeah. What do you think about Synthesia?
Yeah, that's a good one too. It's similar to HeyGen. So Synthesia is another tool that will create that AI avatar of you like this. Okay, I don't know if it will take your image and make you a custom one.
They will.
They will. Okay, cool.
So I was just curious because I don't know if they're priced too high. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, $67 a month for 360 minutes of video a year. I probably record 360 minutes of video in a week.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you're looking to create a lot of content, like I said, these things start to become cost prohibitive unless you're just using them sparingly. Mm-hmm. So like maybe you use it for your intro and intermediate through the thing, or if your channel isn't dependent on your face, it might be a good option. So this is what it created like in just a couple seconds with the script that I gave it.
How to grow on YouTube is by using AI like Typeframes. This is how to grow on YouTube is by using AI like Typeframes.
You guys see that? You guys hear that? So you could put like a real script in there about a video. I saw somebody, they took their tweet and they put their tweet into the video and made a short form video out of it. That's a cool tool. There's obviously ChatGPT and all these other tools to create your scripts and stuff. And there's a whole art and science of how to prompt it to get the right script out. The one that I would recommend for YouTube though is called Claude. Okay, so this is the AI that I use primarily. It's called Claude. The great thing about Claude is that you can upload really large documents into it or scripts. So let's say I wanted to get a script of a video, or like I wanted to use a video. I like this guy. Now I can actually take his script and I could use that to create my script. So what I can do is I can go to YouTubeTranscript.com. All I have to do is take this video link, paste it in here, and it will give me the entire transcript to the video. Then I can click over here, copy entire transcript. I can go back to Claude. I can paste it. You can see it pasted that entire document. I could say, give me all of the points made in this video in short bullet points. It will scan that entire, 50-minute long video script, and it's going to take a while because it's a really long piece of text, and then it will start to give me the key points in bullet point. And then I can say, hey, create me an intro, create me the middle part, create me an ending, create an outro. So that's another great AI tool. The other AI tool that I want to mention and highlight, because this one's big and this one will save you a ton of time in the editing process. It's called Descript. There's a free level and there's a paid level. I do pay for it. So this is Descript. What I like about Descript is I can upload a video. So here's a video that I uploaded, and they have some really amazing AI tools, AI editing tools. Here's my video. I can come up here and I can click on actions, and then I can do a couple of different things. I can remove filler words. So I can remove words like so or well or or I guess, I mean, I suppose. And I can remove all of those automatically. The AI will read the script, and then I can come in here. I can actually edit the video based upon the script. So if I want to take out this okay, because I say okay a lot, I can just delete it on the script. I actually don't have to delete it in the video. Another thing that happens in your videos is sometimes there's really long pauses in between what you say. Sometimes people talk really, really slow, and you want to speed up their speech, because I don't know if you know this, but if you speed up a person's speech, it makes them sound more intelligent, yourself included. So what you can do is you can highlight all of the word gaps. So on my AI tools, I can do shorten word gaps, and I can shorten all word gaps longer than 1 second. I found that there are 4 instances of the gaps that are longer than 1 second, and I can start to remove those. But what you got to pay attention to is sometimes the AI isn't perfect. It will identify sometimes filler words as gaps. So here I said so, but that's okay. I can still delete that one. What I usually do, my preference is I remove any word gaps longer than 0.2 seconds. Now that's a really, really aggressive edit, but that's what I like to do, because I like my videos to be super fast, super efficient, and it makes you sound like a genius when you speed up your speech. So Descript, really amazing. It's going to save you hours and hours and hours of editing. I can edit like an hour-long clip in about an hour now, because I also use the speed up feature. So I'll edit it all and then I'll replay it, but I'll increase the audio speed by like 3 times and I'll listen to it really, really fast.
Are you familiar with ElevenLabs?
Yeah, so
I noticed that when you put the script in there, it sounds more human than robotic.
Yeah, so this is ElevenLabs. This is a really popular text-to-voice software. So you can just type your script in here and then click generate, and I'll generate this one. I put some text up in here. And this is free to a certain extent, which is great. And a lot of people use this for their videos.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So ElevenLabs.
Here is a broad history of city
So can you guys hear that?
design, urban design, public art, gardens, future.
So, yeah, that's a great AI voice for people who want to create faceless channels. But there's other softwares out there too that do this and have a lot more variety in voices. And I'll put one of those in the chat now, and I'll do a little demo of it here. Any other ways that you guys were thinking about using AI in your videos? So here's another tool that's like ElevenLabs. It's called Murf AI. And here's an example of that.
Back in 1779, the first model of the human vocal tract was created that could produce the 5 long vowel sounds. This is the earliest known speech synthesis effort. Since then,
Ever wondered why is it that the food that's new?
Today's class is on Newton's laws of motion.
That's pretty cool. There's some good voices in there. So Murf AI, that's a good one.
Thank you so much for that one.
The last 10 minutes here, guys, I'll say I teach YouTube. I teach social media for a living. That's what I do all day, is help people grow on social media, on YouTube particularly, because that's going to really be the home base for all of your different social media efforts, in my opinion. I focus on YouTube, and then we build out the other ones. But YouTube is really, really important because it's the most flexible, allows you to monetize in the most ways. It's been around the longest, has the most users, 2 billion users. So it's probably the best platform. And now with AI language translation, it opens the entire world for you. They're going to be integrating this into YouTube pretty soon. There's tools that you can do now that you can do AI language translation, translate my voice into every other language. Mr. Beast, who's the most popular YouTuber right now, the majority of his views and income actually come from overseas audiences. The United States is only 4.6% of the global population. So if we just focus not just on America, we just immediately increased our audience size by 95%, meaning ad spend. People in other countries get ads and we get paid on those ads. AI language translation, that's a big thing. We talk about that. There is a tool for it if you're interested that is available currently that will translate your voice into 130 other languages. Where I'm grabbing these links is on my website, alexhitt.com, alexhitt.com. I'm putting it in the chat now. I have all these different links here, and the one that will translate your voice is this one. So I'll put this in the chat if you guys just want to click on it here. So translate your video with AI into 130 languages. Here's maybe a little demo.
Charles Bukowski said something in a poem called Style about art. Il a défini l'art en disant « Le style est la réponse à tout, une nouvelle façon d'aborder une chose ennuyeuse ou dangereuse. Fazer uma coisa chata com estilo é preferível a fazer uma coisa perigosa sem ele. »
So that's a big thing, translating your videos, and there's a setting in YouTube where you're able to insert other languages. So even today, right now, you could implement this multi-language strategy into your videos. This YouTube Circle Mastermind is free up until the end of the year. Next year, this is a paid call just for members of what I call YouTube Circle, which is my private YouTube community. Yeah, I mean, YouTube Automate, and I put two other tools in the chat, TubeBuddy and vidIQ. They're free. There is a paid upgrade to both of them. Those are the two tools that I use. I mean, there's some free elements to both of them, but I've looked into YouTube automation and hiring a company to do it, and I'm working on building a team myself to do this for businesses, but it's a full-time job. So there's kind of two ways to go about it. You can hire an agency to do it for you. The normal agreement on that is, yeah, and he's shaking his head, and I wouldn't suggest it, is they usually say, hey, pay me a large sum of money up front. My alarm bells are going off, and I'm like, wow, why would I want to do that? And then that doesn't even make sense because, like, are they going to continue to maintain that YouTube channel for years? Or like how to hire somebody off of Fiverr who you pay $10 to create a YouTube video for you? You know, YouTube is the most competitive platform. All these big channels are moving their content to YouTube. You have the NFL, you have all of these amazing Mr. Beast, all these amazing high quality creators. And to think that you're going to compete with them with like $5, $10 videos, I mean, get real. I mean, it ain't going to happen, right? So this is why I suggest you, your face, your expertise, your business, building a personal brand, because like Mason said, like it's not sustainable to hire a social media manager to do this because social media is very intensive. I mean, it is a big time commitment. And then to hire somebody who you want to pay like $15 an hour to, maybe you'll get lucky, but then that person's eventually going to leave if they have any success on. Why does Gary Vee, why does Mark Zuckerberg, why does Elon Musk go on podcast and create content? It's because it has massive utility for their business. So the business owner has to step in front of their business, has to be in front of the camera, and that's what I help people do. But that's the end of this today, guys. I think we have one or two more of these this month, and then come January, this will be paid just for our members. But we have a lot of different things going on in our community. This is just one of the many calls that I do every single week. So if you're an online entrepreneur, those are the people that I help. Those are the things that we do. I just put a link in the chat to my website. It's obn.events. If you want to continue to attend free meetings, we literally have meetings every single week, multiple free ones. You'll see if they're on the calendar, they're free to attend. You're welcome to attend all of them. Barrett, you attend a lot of my meetings. Are my meetings good? Are they quality?
Excellent. I learned so much from it.
Yeah, they're okay. So cool. Reach out to me, guys. Schedule a time on my calendar, but I got another meeting I got to jump to. So nice meeting you all. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.